Hello everyone and welcome to this class. Today we will be talking about drawing treble clefs on a staff. So at the end of this class it is expected that every pupil should be able to draw the treble clef into a staff. As a sort of review, we know that the clef is a symbol that is placed at the beginning of a staff. What does it do? It shows us the names of the notes or the pitches on that staff. In other words, when you have a staff, a bare staff, you cannot begin to label the lines and spaces with alphabets. But immediately you put in a clef, then you can begin to do so. Now there are two types of common clefs in music, and these are namely the treble clef and of course the bass clef. So this is what the treble clef looks like, and this is what the bass clef looks like. You'll notice that it has two dots at the front. Always remember that image is never complete without those two dots. So moving on. Now when you put the treble clef on a staff, as you can see, this is the treble clef, and we said it's a symbol that is placed at the beginning of the staff. Now we have placed our treble clef at the beginning of that staff, and immediately we do that, it begins to show us the names of all the notes and pitches on the staff. So the name of the pitch on the first line is E, and on the first space F, and the next one G, and then it goes A, and then B, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we went on to see that the pitches on the lines alone will go E, G, B, D, and F, and a simple reminder for this is every good boy deserves silver. Let's take a look at it. The first line is E, G, next line is B, D, and F. Okay, and a simple way to remember this would be to say every good boy deserves favor. Okay, and then we went on to look at the spaces. For the spaces we have F, A, C, E, and a simple way to remember this would be Father Abraham cooks eggs. So today we are learning to draw the treble clef, and the first thing, we already know that this is what the treble clef looks like. The first thing we need to do is to begin above the staff and draw the letter J. You make sure you draw that J through the staff and end on the space that's below the staff. So you see what I have here. Start above the staff, make a letter J going downwards and end somewhere like that. That's the first step. The first step is to make a letter J. Second step is to start by making a letter P. So you start at the top of the J you have just made and go on to make a letter P. But it's not just, you're not just going to draw a letter P, you're going to make sure that it touches the fourth line of the staff. I hope you all remember that we'll count the lines of a staff from the bottom to the top. So this down here will be line 1, and this line up here will be line 5 from the bottom to the top. So here you see that this line should be line 4. So you are going to make a P with that. You see that? So I have my J like that, and then I'm going to make a P that touches line 4. If you draw this, I make a P that goes to line 3, it will be wrong. If you draw this, I make a P that goes to line 2, it will be wrong. Okay. If you draw this and you make a P, sorry about that, you make a P that goes to line 1, you'll be wrong. It's very important that you draw it and make sure your P, your letter P starts from the J and goes to line 4. So that's the second step. The third step would be to continue by drawing an inverted D. Everyone knows that this is what the letter D looks like, the capital letter D. But if you invert it or turn it around, it should look something like this. So we're going to draw an inverted D. We're not just going to draw an inverted D, but we'll make sure it's a semicircle that goes to the left from that fourth line all the way down to line 1. So you can see it here. It starts from line 4, it's a semicircle to the left, and it goes down all the way to line 1. So we started by, let's do that here again. Start from line 4, make a semicircle that goes down to line 1 like that. So we started by making a J, and then a letter P, and now an inverted D like that. I'll do it again one more time. At this end, make a J, make a letter P that goes to line 4, and then start from line 4, make an inverted D that goes down to line 1. Okay, so next step, the final step, it says continue to circle up to line 3 and curl around, finishing on line 2. So we have done this already here. I'll change this color temporarily. And from here it says we should continue to circle up to line 3. Circle up to line 3. And then coil around and finish on line 2 like that. So if I do it from here, circle up to line 3, coil around, finish on line 2. Okay, so here I have an inverted D, circle up to line 3, finish on line 2. If I start from the very beginning, I start with a letter J, I make a letter P that ends on line 4, and then I go down with an inverted D, and then I circle up to line 3 and to line 4. As you can see, this and this, they look alike, right? So that's how